Coordinates: 15 degrees north 19 degrees east, 15 degrees north 19 degrees east, 15. 19 Chad, officially known as the Republic of Chad, is a landlocked country in north-central Africa. It is bordered by Libya to the north, Sudan to the east, the Central African Republic to the south, Cameroon to the southwest, Nigeria to the southwest, and Niger to the west. Chad has several regions: a desert zone in the north, an arid Sahelian belt in the center, and a more fertile Sudanian savanna zone in the south. Lake Chad, after which the country is named, is the second largest wetland in Africa. The capital N'Djamena is the largest city. Chad's official languages are Arabic and French. It is home to over 200 different ethnic and linguistic groups. Islam and Christianity are the main religions practiced in Chad. Beginning in the 7th millennium BC, human populations moved into the Chadian basin in great numbers. By the end of the 1st millennium AD, a series of states and empire had risen and fallen in Chad's Sahelian strip, each focused on controlling the trans-Saharan trade routes that passed through the region. France conquered the territory by 1920 and incorporated it as part of French Equatorial Africa. In 1960, Chad obtained independence under the leadership of François Tombolbe. Resentment towards his policies in the Muslim North culminated in the eruption of a long-lasting civil war in 1965. In 1979, the rebels conquered the capital and put an end to the South's hegemony. But the rebel commanders fought amongst themselves until Hissène Habré defeated his rivals. Chadian-Libyan conflict erupted in 1978 by the Libyan invasion, which stopped in 1987 with a French military intervention. Hissène Habré was overthrown in turn in 1990 by his general Idriss Déby. With French support, a modernization of the Chad National Army was initiated in 1991. Since 2003, the Darfur crisis in Sudan has spilt over the border and destabilized the nation. Poor already, the nation and people struggle to accommodate the hundreds of thousands of Sudanese refugees who live in and around camps in eastern Chad. While many political parties are active, power lies firmly in the hands of the ruling party, the Patriotic Salvation Movement, led by President Idriss Déby, whose multi-decade rule has been described as authoritarian. Chad remains plagued by political violence and recurrent attempted coups d'état. It is a least developed country, ranking among the lowest in the Human Development Index. Chad is one of the poorest and most corrupt countries in the world. Most of its inhabitants live in poverty as subsistence herders and farmers. Since 2003, crude oil has become the country's primary source of export earnings, superseding the traditional cotton industry. Chad has a poor human rights record, with frequent abuses such as arbitrary imprisonment, extrajudicial killings, and limits on civil liberties by both security forces and armed militias. In the 7th millennium BCE, ecological conditions in the northern half of Chadian territory favored human settlement, and its population increased considerably. Some of the most important African archaeological sites are found in Chad, mainly in the Borko Enadi Tibesti region. Some date to earlier than 2000 BCE. For more than 2000 years, the Chadian basin has been inhabited by agricultural and sedentary people. The region became a crossroads of civilizations. The earliest of these were the legendary Sao, known from artifacts and oral histories. The Sao fell to the Kanem Empire, the first and longest lasting of the empire that developed in Chad's Sahelian strip by the end of the 1st millennium AD. Two other states in the region, Sultanate of Bagirmi and Wardai Empire, emerged in the 16th and 17th centuries. The power of Kanem and its successors was based on control of the trans-Saharan trade routes that passed through the region. These states, at least tacitly Muslim, never extended their control to the southern grasslands except to raid for slaves. In Kanem, about a third of the population were slaves. French colonial expansion led to the creation of the Territoire Militaire des Pays et Protectorats du Chad in 1900. By 1920, France had secured full control of the colony and incorporated it as part of French Equatorial Africa. French rule in Chad was characterized by an absence of policies to unify the territory and sluggish modernization compared to other French colonies. The French primarily viewed the colony as an unimportant source of untrained labor and raw cotton. France introduced large-scale cotton production in 1929. The colonial administration in Chad was critically understaffed and had to rely on the dregs of the French civil service. Only the Sahara of the south was governed effectively. French presence in the Islamic north and east was nominal. The educational system was affected by this neglect. After World War II, France granted Chad the status of overseas territory and its inhabitants the right to elect representatives to